Hey, legends in the making! You're tuned to WWE Uncovered, bringing WWE to your screen daily. Hit that bell, and let's start. WWE Raw isn't just about high-flying moves or intense matches. It's a stage where strategy, manipulation, and long-term planning can change everything. Last night, the landscape of Raw shifted dramatically when Paul Heyman uncovered a shocking revelation that no one saw coming. Seth Rollins' sudden transformation wasn't about reinvention or style. It was part of a carefully orchestrated plan that had been in motion for months. Austin Theory's role, too, wasn't what it seemed, as layers of deception and strategy were finally exposed. Every gesture, every word, and every backstage interaction now takes on new meaning. This isn't just wrestling, it's psychological warfare at its finest, showing that the real battles often happen behind the scenes. Paul Heyman's strategic genius. Paul Heyman has long been considered one of WWE's smartest authority figures, orchestrating outcomes with precision. Last night, he faced a rare challenge, a deception so subtle that it went unnoticed for months. Heyman's strength lies in control. He reads people, manipulates situations, and shapes narratives to his favor. The fact that he was caught off guard demonstrates just how intricate this plan was. This wasn't a simple rivalry. It was a long-term psychological maneuver aimed directly at him. Every move Heyman makes carries weight because his own oversight has been infiltrated. The backstage tension highlighted that even the sharpest minds in WWE can be manipulated, showing that the war in wrestling is as much about brains as brawn. Seth Rollins' transformation. More than meets the eye. Seth Rollins' recent change in appearance and demeanor was initially seen as a personal reinvention. Fans assumed it was a response to Braun Breaker's dominance or Heyman's psychological pressure. The reality is far more calculated. Rollins' cold, disciplined, militaristic presence wasn't preparation. It was a reveal. The transformation was a signal that the plan had already succeeded. By stripping away chaotic energy and flamboyance, Rollins demonstrated that he had already won the psychological battle. Every stare, every pause, every word now carried subtle power. Rollins' shift was a masterstroke of strategy, illustrating how perception in WWE can be manipulated, turning a seeming weakness into an invisible advantage over both authority and opposition. Austin Theory. The perfect double agent. Austin Theory's role was never just ambition or competition. He was a key piece in a complex chess game. Positioned as a double agent, he appeared to be the target of manipulation while secretly feeding information to Rollins. Theory's challenge was maintaining his identity and appearance as a regular competitor while quietly destabilizing Heyman's vision. His transformation into a covert operative required skill, discipline, and restraint. WWE storytelling thrives on layers, and Theory's role shows how a seemingly minor character can have an oversized impact on the narrative. The genius of this plot twist lies in the duality. Theory seems controlled while simultaneously controlling the situation from within. The Vision and its ideology. The faction known as the Vision was not merely a group of wrestlers. It functioned as a living ideology, enforced by dominance and psychological control. Heyman's strength came from the belief system that underpinned the faction, making any direct attack predictable and likely to fail. Rollins recognized this and chose psychological subversion over brute force. The plan involved planting doubt and disrupting confidence, ensuring the faction's collapse from within rather than facing it head-on. This narrative demonstrates WWE's ability to blend character development with complex storytelling, showing that ideas, belief, and perception can be just as powerful as titles or physical victories. The goal: psychological infiltration. The strategy employed by Rollins was meticulous. The goal wasn't merely to defeat Braun Breaker or challenge the faction openly. It was to infiltrate Heyman's mind and manipulate the perception of power. Doubt had to be planted subtly, invisibly, and deeply. Every interaction, every seemingly minor moment, contributed to undermining the faction's foundation. This required perfect timing, trust, and the right agent, Austin Theory, who could operate under the radar. The brilliance of the plan lay in its patience. Instead of immediate confrontation, it allowed the opposition to continue their operations, all while the structure was being eroded from within. WWE's storytelling here showcases intelligence and patience as essential tools in narrative design. Turning point: Heyman's realization. The story reached a critical moment after another dominant performance by Braun Breaker. Heyman, confident and in control, mocked Rollins and assumed the upper hand. But subtle cues, the shifts in E2 demeanor, the silence, the calm focus, began to reveal the truth. The lights, the tone, and Heyman's reaction marked the turning point. He realized the system he controlled had already been compromised. The beauty of this narrative is its subtlety. The climax wasn't a brawl or dramatic confrontation, but the slow dawning of realization. WWE storytelling often thrives on these nuanced moments where psychology, not violence, drives tension and suspense. The chess game enters the endgame. With the realization that the plan had succeeded, the narrative shifted from setup to endgame. The board was no longer in motion. It was fully arranged. Every player had a role, every piece a purpose, and Heyman now faced a reality where the deck was stacked against him. The stakes became existential, not merely competitive. This illustrates WWE's ability to layer narratives. A simple wrestling faction transforms into a living chessboard where strategy, manipulation, and timing dictate outcomes. The endgame emphasis heightens anticipation, making every match, promo, and backstage segment feel like a piece of a larger, more meaningful story. Consequences for Paul Heyman's response to betrayal is now a central question. Cornered and exposed, he must decide how far to go to regain control. The narrative tension arises from the unpredictability of his actions. Will he adapt, retaliate, or crumble? WWE often elevates authority figures by showing their vulnerability, turning them into compelling characters. The audience is left wondering whether Heyman will double down on control, attempt to manipulate the manipulators, or face total collapse. This suspense makes every upcoming episode critical, demonstrating that stakes in wrestling extend far beyond the ring and into the realm of strategy, psychology, and personal power dynamics. Rewriting the Raw landscape. This revelation changes everything for Raw's power structure. Rollins' strategy, Theory's hidden allegiance, and the compromised vision shift the balance of power dramatically. Fans now see every interaction, every match, and every storyline through a lens of strategy and manipulation. What seemed like ordinary matches were, in hindsight, moves in a calculated plan. WWE's ability to integrate long-term storytelling with in-ring action shows how layered and sophisticated its narratives can be, blending athletic performance with chess-like precision and intrigue. The audience is drawn deeper, analyzing subtleties and anticipating the next move in an evolving strategic war. Psychological warfare over physical combat. The central theme of this storyline is psychological over physical dominance. Rollins' approach relied on patience, observation, and manipulation rather than immediate confrontation. This demonstrates that success in WWE isn't always about athletic supremacy or brute force. It's also about intelligence, deception, and timing. The narrative forces fans to think critically, questioning motives and hidden agendas. By prioritizing mind games, WWE elevates the drama, creating tension that persists long after the bell rings. Fans are engaged not only by the spectacle, but also by the complexity of strategies, which adds depth to both characters and rivalries. Foreshadowing future conflicts. With the vision destabilized, future conflicts are inevitable. The story sets up possibilities for betrayal, revenge, and unforeseen alliances. Every subsequent match or segment now carries extra weight because the audience knows the underlying psychological battle. This foreshadowing creates anticipation and speculation, which keeps viewers invested week after week. WWE demonstrates how layered storytelling, blending in-ring action, backstage manipulation, and character psychology, can sustain long-term interest. Fans are encouraged to watch carefully, as even small details could signal major future developments, maintaining suspense and engagement throughout the RAW season. The war has just begun. What began as a subtle shift in demeanor and backstage manipulation has become a full-blown strategic war. Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Austin Theory have redefined the stakes on Raw. The story illustrates that WWE storytelling thrives on subtlety, long-term planning, and psychological complexity. The fallout is far from over, and the audience is left anticipating the next move in a high-stakes game of control and power. This narrative elevates wrestling beyond athletic performance, emphasizing the art of strategy, deception, and human psychology, ensuring that every future moment carries the weight of a carefully crafted storyline.